Okay, here's another update on the LED project. So what I had shown in the last video was the major components, the PCBs for the LEDs, as well as kind of the controller PCB, and I showed a little bit about what the panels were made of. Now I'm going to show you what I did to start to hook things up. So we have the individual LED strips here, and these are actually a real pain to solder. If I can get out of my own shadow here. Over here. What we've got is an LED, and then you have to solder the ends to these, and that's really difficult. So then you have two LED strips for each panel. The wire, then as you can see, goes around and connects to the other side. So you have a black doing similarly, and then what I've done is then in the middle made a connector that we're going to put into the panel. So then what I've done on the panel side here is for the individual PCB boards. Again, apologize for the lighting. I'm doing this in the evening in a dark office. I don't have much more light. But again, if you remember the PCB board, now what we have is little jumper wires that are connected. So they're jumpered on both ends. So you have jumper wires on one end, jumpers going to the PCB. So all we have to do is you have the setup I set before. You get a pack of these kind of basic jumper wires. If you just get jumper wires that you can jump from one end to the other, those jumper wires combined with getting strips of these connectors. So what you do for the LEDs is, again, you get the LED strips, you solder both positive and kind of the ground or negative wires to the LEDs to each side. Then in the middle, connect the wire going out, put these connectors that were broken off pieces of these, and then on the PCBs put the jumpers. You could solder all of this, but I wanted to make it modular so it can come apart. And frankly, my biggest addition to the design right now would be to get these LEDs out of the loop. They're a real pain in the butt. So one of the ideas that we're toying with is the idea of taking this panel and actually having that be a PCB. And then what we do is actually integrate this connection to the PCB. So the PCB board that's loose would be integrated with a larger PCB, which would have LEDs actually in the PCB. So you could undo a lot of this, and then really what you're doing is sliding in the reflective panels that act as the marquee light. Anyways, this is my setup right now. What I'm going to try to finish up here is wiring all of this together, and then I'll have an update. Alright, again, I apologize for the video, but again, this is just meant to be an update to show folks what's going on. Alright, it's kind of like a before and after. I hope to have this all wired up in a second, and I'll show you how it's working. Alright.